Okay, got the breaker back off. Take my little screwdriver, push it back in there. I always like to turn it because the wire is so flexible. You don't have to try to undo this screw with your left hand or something to hold this here because it's coming over there. If you're right-handed, just turn it around over this way. I'm just going to back it off until I feel it being snug on the back side. Like I said, I don't have to unscrew the ground screw all the way. Now I'm putting on the right one. I'm just going to take that kink out. I got a slight kink before the curve. Okay. Make sure I got the right one, huh? Now I can kind of turn it how I want, flip it up there. And I think I'm going to keep kind of just clamp those a little bit tighter like that before I tighten this up. And I want it to go around the same direction as I'm tightening it. I don't want to put that loop on the opposite direction because then it has a tendency to loosen that as you're trying to tighten it. Okay. Now I just kind of flip that around like that. Make sure I'm up towards the top. And I'm just putting the black one up high. It's not... I'm just going to poke it in there. Poke it in. Okay. Hey. There. Look at that. You got to make sure it gets in the right one. I think I might have had it where I put the screwdriver, because see, now I'm pulling on it. It's not coming out. Make sure it gets in there where you want it. Just kind of resituate it. So I'm going to have it down and go up, put a kink in it, and come back down. Look at that. See, the red one came out. And it shouldn't really do that. And it might be because I pulled it in and out of that slot a few times, okay? Well, now you're glad you're watching it, huh? What to do with that? You gotta just put a slot, just put it sideways. I've seen some people just put it sideways next to the screw. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna take those out. Now I'm taking my wire strippers and I'm gonna use it and strip this back a little bit. And I wanna strip it back about an inch or so. And I can hold it up there and see. This one looks like I need to go just a hair further. Now, on here, there's little holes. See the holes? I'm going to take that and put this in there, let it stick out a little bit, and turn it. Okay? So I have a little loop on it. And I can do it over here. I let it stick out about, an 1/8 of an inch or so, and turn it. Okay. I'm not going to hook it on the, I'm going to hook it on the screws now. So now I'm going to undo the screws on the side, and they're going to come out so far, and then they usually have a stop on it, so it won't go all the way. Now if I hold on to this and really bear down on it, I could take those screws out. Okay, but I don't want to go that far. So now I'm going to look at that. overlap it going the right direction. I'm going to take this again. I'm going to hold that tight and try to pinch that on a little bit more. Okay. And then I want it to go straight out like that, and I kind of hold that and put pressure on that to kind of keep this pulled in tight, see, like so. Do it however you want. And now I'm going to tighten that down on the side. And it's making the loop go that much tighter that way. That is never going to come off. Well, you saw what was happening there. That's because I took it out once or twice. So I got to put it on kind of sideways and then move it over. You see that, how I did that? Because you kind of have to put it sideways to get it off. If you're taking off the other one, I can't just put it on straight because it's hitting there. So I kind of have to put it sideways, and I can pull it over where it goes, hold it. I could screw it right now, but I can take that, the tip of it, and kind of bend it around more. Sometimes, and that gives it a better connection. Sometimes if you don't do that, when you start this, the loop is a little bit big, the screw kind of fits on one side, and half the wire is sticking out beyond the screw. And this way it just gives you a nice, good, tight connection. Let's see. Okay, like that. Okay, now I'm just still double checking that I'm on the top. And you know what's next, right? But that's what you got so far if you're going to put it on the side screws. And lots of times that's what I do just for the sake of argument, because especially as you're wiggling it back and forth and getting it in there, and you think you have the wire tight in the back hole, maybe it loosens up a little bit, maybe it's still in there, just slightly not as tight as you want it. And every time you turn the light switch on, off, on, off, on, off, pretty soon maybe it gets a little bit loose, and you've got to have the electricity go from the wire to the screw or to the fitting in there, and pretty soon it might get loose a little bit. It might cause your breaker to trip or something like that. So you make the decision on the wiring. Do you want to use the back little slots, or do you want to use the sides? I would recommend using the sides. Okay, got this pulled down here. I'm lifting up right like that, and I'm just putting another kink in it. So it's kind of like an S. So these wires go up and back down a little bit. Okay. I hold it kind of off to the side. I kind of bend it so it looks straight, and it looks like it's going to go in fine right there. Boy, it's like that ground wire. I don't know why they had the screw up so high. It almost wants to hit that top, but it's okay. It misses. That's kind of odd. I mean, I haven't put any switches in lately. They used to have the ground screw down towards the bottom. This one is up towards the top. And these screws are going into a plastic box, and that's why I want to make sure it can push in without any slop. And see, I can see this, it's not flat, it's kind of tilted. I just want to take this at this point and kind of bend it a little bit before I put the screws in all the way. Okay. I don't like putting these in with a battery operated drill, because if you're going too far, you could start stripping the screws and the plastic. And I like to just get everything tight hand tight. I don't like to overdo things. It's not that big. It doesn't take that long to put these in. Okay. See, I just do that. There's a slot on the area where the screw is, so you can slide this back and forth. Sometimes these, you think, oh, well, shouldn't the box be perfectly level or plumb, going straight up and down? Yeah, well, but if the box isn't nailed tight, or if this stud is slightly off, or the sheetrock pushed it over, they give you that slot there so that you can slide this. It doesn't necessarily have to be straight with the box. If the box is crooked, you want this straight to your door trim or your wall, whatever. My pet peeve is trying to get the cover plates nice and straight. And sometimes you have to put it in and stand back, because I might think this is straight, but once I get the cover plate on and I look at it, see there's a little slop right there, but once you put it in that screw, there's no adjustment. And then after I get it in, I might think, hey, that's slightly off. I can do better than that. Joe can do better than that. So I'll take it out, tweak one side or the other. Top could go over to the left, bottom could go over to the right, or maybe it doesn't line up with what you see on the sides, and so you have to undo it and slightly slide it over from where the existing light switch was, or something like that. You know what I mean? Just, be aware of stuff like that. Do the best you can. And then say, well, it's not perfect, but it's as close as I could get it. And make that snug. I look at it, see if anything, the top still needs to go that way a little bit. And I can confirm that by measuring this. I got 7 1/4. And just, well, it looks pretty good actually. 10 1/16 to the right, 10 and almost a 16th to that right. But it's still, right there, it still slightly looks crooked. Not very much. Maybe the door jamb trim is slightly off. I think I can do a little better. The top needs to go over to the left, just a little bit, just probably about like that. And see, if you have it just right, you could do it with that, or you may have to undo the screw a little bit. I just don't want to over tighten those, because that could suck that in, So I just make those snug. I don't try to over tighten those. As long as they're tight up against the wall, reveal looks pretty good. Okay, now I can turn the power back on. Take another quick look at it. Right, that looks good. Okay. Wow, you're learning some few things today. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. And if you like my channel, please subscribe.